Okay. Hey y'all, howdy everybody. Howdy. Well, howdy everyone. That was so beyond weird. That's never happened. Okay. Today's been a good day. It's been yesterday and today have been pretty good. Today was like it's been amazing. And not a whole Blue Angel. What? Not a whole lot of things have necessarily happened. I'll talk to one of my buddies, one of my best friends. I haven't really talked to him in a minute. And I talked to one of his brothers. And so I'm going to be using the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha cards. Um, because I think Ganesha started speaking to me like for a minute before. Well, one of the first cards I got out of the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits was the elephant. And that was the first deck I bought. And then it referenced Lord Ganesha. And so that was like November 2018. And I'm like this. I'll just set these aside until I need them. But November 2019, we went to go visit his brother in London. And on the last day we were there, it was like the only day that both his brother and his sister were there. Because first his brother was gone. And on the day, it was like the day before his brother came back, his sister left. And then on the day before we flew out, the night before we flew out, she came back. And we watched Growing Up Smith, and it was so funny. And there was one scene where they're going trick or treating when he's younger, and he was wearing a Lord Ganesha costume. And I forget, I think he told his mom he wanted to be like Darth Vader or something like that. And she's like, okay, I got you. And then he was in a Ganesha costume. And they went to somebody's house, and they was like, "Who are you supposed to be?" And then they was like, "I think he's Dumbo." And then I think that's what the wife said. And then the husband was like, or maybe that's what the husband said. And then the wife was like, "Well, Dumbo doesn't have 4 arms." And then his little friend was like, "Oh, he's Lord Ganesha." And she was like, "The only Lord we acknowledge in this house is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ." But when I was on the phone with him, he referenced Lord Ganesha. And then my friend referenced Lord Ganesha, and then his brother referenced that movie that we watched. And it was just really nice talking to him. And I was like, I'm gonna have to, like, one of these days, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna make it back to London. And he was like, yeah, or you could like come to India. I was like, if I go to India, I'm gonna have to go in the wintertime because I can't survive the summers. And he was like, well, when I came for graduation, it was like pretty hot over there. I was like, was it? Anyway, it was a nice day. I haven't really talked to him, and like we video chatted. I haven't really seen him in a minute, and our conversations have been like kind of short. So a year ago today, I was there. It's the friend I was on my little spiritual retreat or whatever. He's back at home right now. So anyway, it was nice to talk to him today. So that's why I'm using the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha cards. And then the Suit of Pentacles and the Tarot Apocalypsis is based in Hindu religion. So I'm also going to be using that. I don't know if I want to do the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha first. I kind of do because that's how I was feeling it. And then I'll clarify it with the Tarot Apocalypsis. Okay, that's what I'll do. And then we'll just see what comes out. And also, I guess today's been a really good day, and yesterday was a good day because I guess there were some things that I decided to just surrender and stop being, I don't know, a little butt or something. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know. I'm just ready to be in the lighter side of my energy. Like that fiery side, I'm just like, I think it's like appropriate in a lot of ways, but it's about temperance. It's about balance, right? And I remember it was a few days ago. I don't know how often I feel it, but when I feel it, I really feel it. And it's like a fire that burns in my chest. And it's different than there's like there's a fire that came in about uh July, August. I think it was closer to August, like August, September. And that was just like whatever. But there's different, like it feels like my heart chakra is just like engulfed in flames. And I can tell that that's centered in the heart. The other thing, I think that starts more in the solar plexus. I don't know, but that hit me a few days ago. And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Um, so I've been feeling good. I'm just letting the universe do whatever. I'm also ready to move, and I'm ready to like do stuff. I think that's going to be happening pretty soon. I feel like I'm like gearing up. Oh, okay, girl. I didn't even notice you. Okay, all right. I just looked down and the card was down there. Um, I think pretty soon here, it feels like, well, I don't know if it's because I'm about to set it into motion or if it's about to just happen. Um, but things are really about to sort of take off. It feels like a flower that's about to, it feels like a bud that's about to open. And the amount of just like sheer life force energy that's required to get it to go from one state into another, where it can begin that second phase of its flowery life. Oh, that's a whole bunch. Oh, okay. All right, I'll take it. It's like, okay. All right. I think I get to be cool tonight. I'm excited. I told y'all it was a good day. The All Gifted came out. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. But the All Gifted came out at the top. And I was actually thinking about this card earlier today for some reason. Because I wasn't using this deck, but I remember thinking like if the All Gifted came out in a reading and I didn't read it out of the book, like what would I say? What does that mean? And now here it is. I didn't come up with an answer earlier. The question just came to mind. So I feel like I'm not going to use the book. And I already have it like right here ready to read because I love this book. So there's probably going to be some stuff that I missed, but that's fine. So the card that came out from the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha is number 46, and it's Splendor. And I love that. And at the bottom of the deck is Childlike expression. And I love that because earlier today, I was talking about with the Queen of Swords, the lower three chakras, and how the root chakra holds our innocence, and how that innocence and connection and intimacy in the sacral, and the need to um, perform. I don't want to say perform. The need to perform acts that sustain us, with the solar plexus being responsible for a sense of sustenance, both physical, mental, emotional, like in all senses, sustenance. So, like what emotionally and mentally and spiritually sustains you rather than just the food that you eat, physically sustaining you. And it ended up in this space of like authentic community and communications and things like that that puts us, it's like finding and creating spaces where we can exist as that sort of innocence without all of the potential perceived negative repercussions of spaces where you're not accepted, basically. And I'm getting some of that in this childlike expression. And then Splendor is green, and all of that leads us up to the heart space. Childlike expression is orange. And over here, we're starting with the all gifted. Now, I have read this before, and they said that Pandora was the first woman. And she carries a message of hope. The bottom of the deck, she's carrying a message of hope. The bottom of the deck is the Four of Wands. So, if you know about the Four of Wands, you know about the Four of Wands. And I was just talking about me getting over myself, essentially, and not fighting that burning feeling. And it's so weird because it's not weird, but it's like I said a few days ago, like I can feel somebody like pressing into my energy. Anyway, let's just get into it, shall we? So I'm going to start by reading Splendor and Childlike Expression. This is 46 and 12. 46 is a 10, which is a 1. 12 is a 3. Splendor, 46. Also, like, have y'all noticed that? I mean, now that I pointed it out, I still haven't cut this nail. So it's gotten even longer. I remember every time I end, I was like, I wonder if anyone's noticed. Because it was, what, a week or two ago? Maybe a week and a half ago. I was cutting my nails, and then my friend called me. And then I just came live, and I never made it back to cut this nail. And I feel like there's a metaphor in there somewhere. But I'll read this. I don't know why that just came to my mind. Splendor. So, seek and honor the beauty and splendor that is within and around you. Oh, I love this. Ganesha is surrounded by beauty in this card and is calling it to your attention. Awaken to what you are surrounding yourself with at this moment. See more deeply and be aware of the impact of your surroundings on what you create in your life. Ganesha urges you to let beauty penetrate into your heart. You will naturally respond to this beauty by fostering more care and love, not only in your life, but also in the lives of those around you. If your critical voice has been overactive lately, or you find that you have been dwelling on negative behaviors, take a moment to realign yourself. You arrived in this world as a unique and magnificent individual. The core of your being is whole, beautiful, and filled with love. The essence of the higher self wants nothing more or less than for you to be who you were created to be. I love this because this is what I was talking about, especially with that authenticity and the childlike expression of this natural beauty. Ah, I love it. Ganesha is standing in a meadow surrounded by flowers. The flowers symbolize perfection and beauty. The variety of colors streams healing, loving energy in your direction. The butterflies symbolize the change and evolution that your soul is undertaking. Remember to have an awareness of your surroundings. See the splendor that is being shown to you and utilize this energy to support your own transformation. Ooh, it just feels so good. It feels so good. Childlike expression, under childlike. Oh my gosh, girl. And generosity number 10 is under this. 46 is a 10. So 43, innocence. Innocence is under childlike expression. And I just said that our sense of innocence lives in the root chakra and between the solar plexus and sacral, creating and finding those environments where we can intimately be ourselves puts us in a space to be able to express from that place of innocence. rather than putting all of the filters of interpersonal and societal conditioning and norms and on that and stuff getting weird. You know what I mean? I love that innocence was behind it. Come through synchronicities. It means I'm on the right track. Right? Childlike expression. In truth, within every soul exists an aspect known as the inner child. You can champion your inner child's emotional life by listening carefully to what you need and want in your own heart. You may have been taught to give up your own desires for the sake of others. This is not necessary. Ganesha is bringing the guidance that not acknowledging your desires not acknowledging your desires and needs. Okay. Desires and needs. My brain just lost it there. I was like, needs. Let me start over. I'll start over, y'all. Forgive me. It's a little late. Okay. You can champion your inner child's emotional life by listening carefully to what you need and want in your own heart. You may have been taught to give up your own desires for the sake of others. This is not necessary. Ganesha is bringing the guidance that not acknowledging your desires and needs takes away from your life force and defeats your spirit. As a child, you were a sensory expert. It is now time to re-stimulate your inner child's ability to look, listen, touch, and explore the world in order to reconnect you with your emotions. And while you're doing that, noticing the beauty that lies within everything, just say it's all connected. Okay. Practice trusting your inner knowing or senses. Give your inner child love and a voice. Express your true feelings. Connect deeply to yourself on an emotional level by allowing all of your uncomfortable feelings to reach the surface of your awareness and be seen and experienced. Find patience and joy in simple things. Take a step away from acquiring material things and take pleasure in the wisdom of your own soul. Love, respect, and honor your inner child. Allow time for play in whatever mode that pleases you, be it socializing, singing, yoga, travel, taking a walk, dancing, meditating, or writing. This is how your inner child operates. It knows no boundaries, holds no expectations, and loves unconditionally. I've been kind of singy for the past few days too. I was in, we went to Meyer last night, and I'm just in like dancing. And I'm in there dancing to like my own music. It ain't even the little whatever that's playing. And I don't even care. I'm just in there having a good time living my life. I was out there in the front. It happened yesterday too. And a few other days ago. And I just start dancing. And I start like humming or singing or whatever. But sometimes I whistle and I just start dancing. And my mom looked at me and I was like, what? I'm just enjoying life. She was like, I ain't say nothing. I don't know. Like I said, it's like I feel like I've been so like critical for a minute now. And I get it. But there's some things that I'd rather release and be open to. And when I do, nothing has to happen for me to just be in a really good mood. Um, so let's get into this, shall we? I think, well, this is the part where we go a little down. Gonna be a little down for a second. And it's in this all gifted and the hangman. So we're talking about Pandora, right? And the story goes that they held everything, all the whatevers, is in this box, and Pandora is gifted the box, and she's told to not open the box, but she opened the box for whatever reason, and she like, oh crap, the box is open, and so she hurry up and closed the box, and the only thing that was left in the box was hope. Now, in a game that uses uh Greek. It's not Greco-Roman, it's just the Greek side of mythology. The third game in that series of an individual who embodies the energy of Ares, the god of war. Spoiler alert, if you haven't played God of War 3, Pandora is in that game. Was it 3? Or was it Ascension? I'm pretty sure it's 3. It was 3. And Kratos does all that stuff to get to the box. And he opens the box and he's like, it's empty. What? And so typically it's like, the only thing left in the box is hope. But hope is also out there. Like, hope isn't in the box. Hope is like just as prevalent is coming to my mind. Like, hope is just as prevalent. And I guess that's it. Like, I want to put conditions on that. I want to be like hope is just as like easy to, not easy, but hope is just as likely to find as anything else if you're looking for it. But it's not if you're looking for it. It's just hope is just as prevalent as everything else. Now you only see it if you are of a mind to see it. It's one of those things that can elude you if you fight it. Hangman is right here, so. But there's this energy here of putting everything back in the box. And we only get everything back in the box by doing this stuff, which is rediscovering our sense of innocence and learning to see the beauty in everything and to experience the beauty of everything on a deeper level. This is the shadow work that needs to be done. And then we come into this Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups has been featured lately. It came out, it played a heavy role yesterday in the Valley of Judgment. It was Valley of Judgment, Shades of You. I'm talking about shadow work, Shades of You, Valley of Judgment. The Ace of Cups is where we I call it the spiritual sensory deprivation tank. And it's where we go into experiences and we allow ourselves to be completely dissolved. And we get to experience what is our light, what is our shadow, and then what are the things that are not of us, but that have somehow worked their way into us. And it came out in the first row. And there was a Knight of Pentacles. It was the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and then the Ace of Cups. And the Knight of Pentacles was looking away from the Ace of Cups, looking back at the Queen of Swords. And it carried this energy of us being locked into our own preset way of conceptualizing of the world, or conceptualizing the world, where spirit was trying to get us to do some deeper reflection and break some of that down to get closer to the truth that is within us. And it came out like pretty much right after the King of Wands. And the King of Wands was holding the energy of our souls, basically. Like who we are at our core before any of the conditioning or situations or whatever like force you into a certain character or into a certain role. And so like pretty close to that. First of all was New World Order. And again, it's interesting because New World Order came out and then like hours into the video Because I was like, however many cards come out between the King of Wands and the King of Cups, I'll read them. Basically, the whole deck. I only had like 6 cards left, and there are 80 cards in the SKT. So that's like 74 cards. And then it was finally over. Be careful what you commit to, because Spirit may have you actually do it. um, but it's fine. Um, but New World Order came out in the beginning, before the Queen of Swords. So that it's like before the energy of what we are able to perceive and conceive of. New World Order is already out. Things are already changing. And then much later, the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Wands carried this energy of something that's already different. Something's already changed. Something's already shifted on a level that may be more subtle than you can realize, depending. But when you get closer into this energy, I think you'll be able to start to see it. And it carries some of that beauty with it. The all gifted. Right. That's the hope. But it's contextualized. And that also carries a hangman energy because it's an understanding. The hangman can be a tricky energy. And with the Ace of Cups, again, this was us coming into the space of basically just learning spirit for ourselves beyond what anyone else tells you that it is. And the next card is the Nine of Cups, which is the card of wish fulfillment. And right behind the Nine of Cups is the moon. I think the moon is Hecate in this deck. No, that's not Hecate. Who is that? I don't know. Let me put my little readers on. I don't need these for this, but let's see if there's a detail in here that I can make out. So someone is being attended to in this card, in the Nine of Cups. There's also a statue in the back. There are 6 cups on the wall. 1 cup with wine being poured into it. A cup on this, and then 2 cups on the end tables. The 6 cups on the wall, it gives an energy here from this, where it's, go back to the video about contextualizing and decontextualizing. And a heavy theme in that Valley of Judgment was us relearning how to navigate through life from a healed space, from a space that is, it's less trauma responses to everything. Kind of sort of validated here by the 6 cups on the wall. Excuse me. So our past is framed in a certain way that gets us, that moves us into the future sort of more, it's it's more free. And then the other 3 cups are separate. Like 1 cup is right there with the wine being poured into it, temperance energy. The other cup is on that side table or end table or whatever you call it. And then the other ace is on that one. And so I love this energy because with this ace, it's like it's bringing all of these things that have transpired separately together. And the Four of Wands is on the bottom of the deck, so I'm not going to ignore the whole, even though sometimes I would. I'm not going to ignore the whole, like, relationshipy thing. But this Ace of Cups, this is something that we find within ourselves. And then we come in with others. And it's almost like it's carrying an energy. It feels like there's a divine energy in this that's like been waiting on you to finally get it. And I don't want to say finally get it like that, but with the Six of Cups, it carries an energy of like they finally got it. What's also interesting to note is one of these cups is dead center. The other one is still finding its way to the center, right? X marks the spot on that one. It's sitting right in the middle. But that one, it's like it's off. So it could still be finding its way there. But this moon card, definitely. But in this, it reminds me of the moon in um, the Spirit Keeper's Tarot. Because in that card, there are two jackals that are chained together. In this card, there are two dogs that are chained together. And it does have a little bit of like hellhoundy Cerberus type of energy. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. But here we see that this moon energy has the keys. You see him right there. She's also got the cup and the dagger. There's a full moon, there's a blue moon. And it looks like they're okay, maybe not. It looked like there were people who were just like, I don't know, worshiping the moon or something. I think one of the messages here that I'm getting is to not lose sight of where it is that you've come from. And it's so like, ugh. 'Cause part of me is like, because no matter how good the world is or whatever, there's always going to be some people out there. It's just an energy of not being taken advantage of, basically. Because you can either be the snarling dog or you can be the chill dog, whichever the situation requires. And what's different about this moon energy is if this energy right here has been taken care of with this, if we go through that deprivation tank and we separate what is us from what isn't us, and then we come into this space of finding our mark, then there are certain things that we have a greater, it's like a greater emotional range, because it's like without that being done, again, it would be a lot of trauma responses, right? Like we would always be that snarling dog, or we would always be the passive one in the back. If your thing is about learning how to utilize the power of your voice and to say no and to establish healthy boundaries, right? Like if you're the type of person who's like always been run over and stuff, and that's how you respond to whatever traumas you were subjected to by being passive, then maybe it is for you to learn to speak up. If your default reaction is to always like do whatever, then maybe it's to learn to not always be so ready to go on the defensive or on the offensive and to be so aggressive all the time. Because with this moon, once it's handled, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to navigate situations differently than you did before. And it's going to allow you to come to different outcomes. One of those outcomes, I mean, the Nine of Cups comes before. So it's in the space of the things that you want. Because it's like without that, you would never be able to find your mark. You'd always be this cup that's like off center instead of being this one that's exactly where you need to be in that moment. And then we have the Princess of Swords. And I think it's Gallarhorn. I think that's the name of that thing. I've heard it somewhere. I don't know what to make of this. There's an Odin energy here. I think swords are Nordic. I'm pretty sure the King of Swords is like Odin himself. And we see the two sort of ravens that are Odin's little uh messengers. I know what Russell calls them, like thuggin and muggin or something like that. I don't remember their actual names. And the sword, she's not holding the sword. It's in the ground. There's that horn there, which can carry a little judgment energy. And it's sitting on top of what looks like a book. This feels like a summons because she's pointing at the sky and then she's pointing at you. And then the birds are also there. And they're the eyes of Odin. There's this energy here that it's like children learn by watching. And sometimes there are some parents that'll be like, do as I say, not as I do. So it's like right now, it's not what you're saying, it's what you're doing. And it has a tie to this energy because with the moon, it's like you could on the surface say a whole bunch of pretty words and stuff. But what are your actions with the dogs at the bottom? One of them like ready to attack, the other one looking for a treat. This is Chino. Those are Chino's two moves: attack and give me a treat, please. Now Chino plays a lot. But he's a little beefy dog. So and his nails are sharp. But it's what you do, not what you say. Here, and what you do is it's setting a precedent because all eyes are on you. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, followed by the Princess of Cups. The Princess of Cups has all of those butterflies. Maybe she got some butterflies in her stomach. She's like, oh, but I'm nervous. This is such an interesting energy. It's the Queen of Cup or the Queen of Pentacles surrounded by the Princess of Swords and the Princess of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles, and she's holding like flowers. So that takes us back to the flowers that I'm actually going to read the book on this one because I'm curious who this is. I feel like she's the one, it's like she's the aspect of self. It feels like she creates the beauty. Or this is just spirit, whatever system of love you subscribe to, the universe of life. In the middle, like the Queen of Pentacles is the energy of life. And the Queen of, or the Princess of Swords and the Princess of Cups, it's this energy of like, can you feel it? Can you see it? Can you connect to it? Something is leading you to this Queen of Pentacles. And that's where you'll find all of the splendor. Like that's her energy. And with the Princess of Swords like looking at you and pointing to you, it's like the divine is doing all of this, but can you see what's happening? Can you see beyond the veil of illusion through to what it is that you want? This is 10 cups right here. The ace plus the 9. Once that second cup finds its mark, 10 of cups. And with the all gifted and the hangman, it's like this was the mighty challenge that was issued, or the sacred challenge, to see through all of the despair, to find the hope that is just as prevalent in everything, to align to that and not be moved. Or to, I mean, we're human, so we're going to have our days, right? But to catch the vision, because that's what this is. It's a Sundance, I believe. To catch the vision, and again, it's calling to you. But with the Princess of Swords and the Princess of Cups, it's like, can you see it? Can you feel it? This is like grandmama feminine energy reaching out to the little feminine energy in you, asking you if you can step up. Like, can you do this? And then here, it's like a cosmic feminine energy. And the Sun card is a cosmic masculine energy. Cosmic meaning it's just more, it's like an energy that plays out above, but we kind of experience it in the 3D. Let's see. Let's read about the Queen of Pennies. Queen of Pennies. Here she is. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's Lakshmi. Maybe I should have known it was Lakshmi. I was hoping it would be Ganesha Mama. I think Ganesha Mama is Parvati. Lakshmi. So, this is the goddess of fortune and prosperity. Since humankind first conceived in the mind, it has sought fulfillment, power, and nourishment. Those who have prayed for fortune are those I have heard. Those who have acted to bring auspiciousness across the threshold I have followed. I am called Jewel, Mother Earth and Mother of the world. I am in love with all things upon the earth and within the earth. I yearn for its growth and preservation. My husband is the great preserver, and I am his power. She is his power. Ooh, I like that. I like that. My name is the office of kings and the flow of wealth. From me come all fortunes and sources of power. Upon my bosom you will find the wealth of nourishment, victory and courage, wisdom and knowledge, wealth of resources, and a never-ending line. I ask only that you remember this. Power is like a river that flows ever downstream, carrying with it the richness of life. It cannot move faster than it knows. It cannot be forced into a place it does not seek. Like water, power can devastate and it can nourish. It can kill and it can heal. It can become stagnant and it can be pure. It cannot be held too tightly, for it will be lost in the grasping. You do not own power. It flows through you and from you, and true power nurtures the strength of others. I long to see you flourish and grow, to see you live in this world, and I know that you will die in it and return to the earth, to me, where you shall serve others in their nourishment. Nothing is destroyed. There is only a steady cycle of matter changing form. Therefore, I am also the queen of gratitude. I am the bringer of the bountiful harvest and the sweetest luxuries of the earth. Turn away the requests of others, and I shall be deaf to your pleas. Give graciously and abundantly, and you will receive riches of great worth. You must be part of the flow of fortune to receive it. So that's some heavy Six Pentacles energy right there that she's carrying. The material world around us is recognized for its capacity to sustain and nourish us, providing for our most basic needs. We need food, water, oxygen, and shelter for our most rudimentary survival. However, the material world also provides the parts of life that allow us to grow beyond beginnings, to live well, to eat healthily, to enjoy our lives. As the queen of the suit of the material world, the Queen of Pentacles maintains the essence and vitality of everything that creates and sustains us. From the food, going back to sustenance, solar plexus chakra, talked about the, sorry for the little interjection. Everything that creates and sustains us, from the food chains of the environment we live in to the way in which our time and energy is transmuted into wealth, in turn, transmuted into well being and product. The Queen of Pentacles is the ultimate nurturer and nourisher, for she is water and earth, fertile and fecund. I never knew how to pronounce that word. Earth, full of everything that is good. She nurtures others in all aspects of their lives, most especially in health of the body, home, and environment. She is the queen of the family, the queen of luxury and necessity. She is the force within us that needs to be cared for and to care for others. She is the nurturing milk of the breast that is full of nutrition, and she knows what is best for those in her care. She is a healer of wounds and illnesses, an advocate of healthy living and of nurturing the body, and she encourages generosity as a means to promote one's wealth and fortune. Should I read these? No, I think that's good. And so we got Mama Lakshmi sitting here. And then the Four of Wands, I feel like this, with the Two of Pentacles under it, I think this is it's a celebration of like you, it's kind of sort of like you finally getting it again. But there's also, it's like to receive all of the things that we've been wishing for. Something about this energy here, the Nine of Cups into the moon, this is a full moon. And so the influence of the moon, it basically powers up the Nine of Cups. Since it's a full moon, it has its strongest effect on the tides. And that moon is pretty big. So I'd say that's even like super moon energy, which means the moon is even closer. And again, it has a stronger pull on the tides. And so it feels like it has the power to amplify the Nine of Cups energy to this level of abundance and fulfillment. It feels like wish fulfillment in several different areas of life, or a wish being fulfilled that affects different areas of life instead of just one kind of sort of more isolated wish. Something in here, though, it needs you to be in position to receive it. It needs you to have done what you need to have done. And again, it goes back to this energy where when we're encountered with something, if we cannot act from that space of trauma, it puts us in a greater likelihood to receive what it is that we're asking for, that we're wanting for, that we're wishing for. What is that? It's fly me to the moon. You are all I long for, all I hope for and adore. You are all I hope for. Is it hope for, wish for, and adore? Long for, hope for, and adore? I don't know. Fly me to the moon. Oh, the moon! LOL, 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 LOL. I didn't even realize the moon is literally right here. And so there's also a healing energy here because the star. I did a reading. Um, I did a reading about Fly Me to the Moon. I think I went looking for. Oh no, it was I think it was the star and something else on one side, and then on the other side was the Six of Swords, and it was inspired by Bayonetta, my favorite game series. And Bayonetta 1, the theme is Fly Me to the Moon, and 2, it's Moon River. And so that's why I went looking for like the moon and the Six of Swords in Moon River. And then I think it was the moon and the star for Fly Me to the Moon. And it might have been another card. And also, with this childlike expression and innocence, I just saw Inside Out like a week or two ago at this point. What is time? I don't know if it was last week or the week before or a month ago, honestly. But it's giving me like Bing Bong energy. When he was like, that was like, he was like, I was going to take her to the moon because that was the theme. And it was powered by song and something else, right? The little wagon thing. And then before he faded away, he said, take her to the moon for me. And again, it is kind of sort of giving me an energy of the Six of Cups that are framed on the wall. Bing Bong couldn't couldn't make that return journey. But and it's like a Pixar movie. But there is a little bit of a question here because he wasn't selfish, right? Like he realized what he had to do and he chose to make the sacrifice for Riley's good, knowing that she would forget him and it basically be like he'd never existed in the first place. He chose to fade so Joy could make it out. And I love this Queen of Pentacles energy because she brings it in and she makes it tangible. Now the Queen of Cups, I haven't, or the Princess of Cups, I haven't looked in too much. But with all of these butterflies, it's just like it's indicative of the major changes that need to happen. And it's changes in a lot of different areas. And like none of these butterflies are necessarily exceptionally large, right? So it's carrying more of an energy of like lots of small changes that build up to us being able to claim all of what she has to offer. And it's a fluid energy, it flows. And I think that's also important here, right? Knowing when to utilize and exercise certain forms of power rather than others. With those two dogs at the bottom of the moon card. And that's basically what I was getting at with the Valley of the Shadow of. Why do I want to keep saying the Valley of the Shadow of Death? Lo, that walk through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, I shall fear no evil. The Valley of Judgment reading, because it was this energy of like that's how we become who we need to be in a certain situation. And if we're triggered and we continue to fall into a default trauma response, it hinders our ability to show up and be that and do that, even though we are well capable of it. And I feel like that's why the Princess of Swords is like, what are you going to do? Especially with Queen of Swords energy taking on that aspect of kind of sort of stuckness, stuck in the way that we always do and handle and perceive of things. When something has changed, And Queen of Pentacles, again, it's like, can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you connect to it and hold that vision? So, there's no more fuss and there's no more scenes in my garden. Thrive, you should see my nectarines. And I'm telling you the same I tell kings and queens. Don't ever ever never mess around with my greens, especially the beans. Shout out to Into the Woods. If you know, you know. Oh, and look at the, was that the bottom? No, at the cut was the star. I was just talking about the star. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, I like this star card. This star card is interesting because she's not naked, first of all. She is very much so clothed. But also, there are no cups. There's not the traditional pouring one cup onto the land, one cup into the sea. My favorite part about this is this ship heading into the bright spot where the clouds have broken in the bottom down there. But here's the star card. Under the star is the Fool. And with the Empress behind that, look at this gorgeous energy. The star, the Fool, the Empress. What's behind the Empress? Behind the Empress is Judgment. Oh, the Valley of the Shadow of Judgment. And we come back. Okay. And with this Judgment, it's like you can get whatever. You can be the person or the people towards the top of the card who are upright, and the girl who's or the person who's learned how to fly and all we see is butt crack. Or you can be those closer to the bottom of the card, all anguished and lamenting and sad and everything else. But with this star here, the potential for the energy is there, but you have to have the courage, the daring, and the bravery to take that leap, to discover that you actually know how to fly. So, and look, there's cosmic masculine energy with the sun and the star. And both of those produce their own light. They emit their own light. The moon is a satellite. It reflects sunlight. Planets, they're satellites. They reflect sunlight. Okay. Final message from the Tarot Apocalypse, and then I'm going to shut this down. X marks the spot. Finding your mark. On your mark. Get set, go. Okay, that's a whole bunch. But the Fool just made another appearance. That was way too many cards, though. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. Okay, that's way too much. Was that who did? Is that the Sun? No, that's the King of Wands. And the Devil. King of Wands. Is it Ra? I think it's Ra in this deck. The Queen of Wands was. I've seen her so many times, I should know. Hathor. Hathor. Princess of Wands is Isis. I don't know who the Prince of Wands is. Maybe Horus. Okay. Can I get like one and not like five? I'm gonna keep going until something comes out. I feel like there's this energy. Oh my god. And they hit the table. That's like 5. Fine, I'll take it. I feel like there's this energy where the divine is acknowledging how difficult things are and how difficult it is to come into certain things. But typically, if we're not challenged to do something, we don't do it. Typically. And there's much to be had, much to be gained. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. Speaking of the Six of Swords, this is that Moon River energy. Moon river wider than a mile. Oh, this is the boat. This is the boat. The boat at the bottom of the star card that was heading for the break in the clouds, the calmer waters. Oh my gosh, here's the ship. Six of Swords. Love it. Behind the Six of Swords is the Ace of Pentacles. Head into a whole new world. What's interesting though, going back to, I think it was again the Valley of Judgment. This one sword is missing. It's being hidden. Here's the Lady of the Lake. Here are the five swords that they found. This is the water sprite. This is Pluto in Capricorn. All of the happiness and contentment and luxury and more gifts than you can hold. And the eagle that turns into the large white dove, or the eagle and the large white dove turning into each other. We only see that once we come into a space of being able to see this water sprite who holds the sixth sword. And to see her, it requires that childlike innocence that I was talking about. Because it's always that, like, those who are pure of heart will see the water sprite. Because the water sprite, it's a non-corporeal being. Like, anyone can see a mermaid if you're in the right time in the right place. But a water sprite, it's like you have to be in an energy that aligns with it, that's resonant to it, to see it. And it's like that hope that is ever pervasive. But when we're not of the mind frame and of the mindset, we don't see it. But it's there. Those who have eyes to see will see. And Princess of Swords is like, do you see it? Princess of Cups is like, can you feel it? Because the Queen of Cups is like, or the Queen of Pentacles is like, I got it. Oh, if you want it. Ace of Wands, the Ten of Wands, Five of Swords, Princess of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. And then we see Ganesha in the back. Ace of Wands and Ten of Wands. Numerologically, these are the same, right? And so this is an energy of like something can either motivate you, inspire you, or it can be one of your biggest burdens and blockages. With the Five of Swords, it's like the battle for a lot of folks, it's more in the mind. And swords and wands are connected in that they're both kind of sort of mental, but the wands is more, well, it can be mental, but it's like what you desire. It holds more desires. And then the swords are more is like logical, right? They're both masculine energies. So here we're sitting at the Justice of Wands, the Hierophant of Swords, and the Hermit of Pentacles. So again, Justice of Wands carries this energy of us taking the proper actions and going about getting the things that we want in the proper ways, right? If you go, like, if you use shady, underhanded tactics to get what it is that you want, you'll probably lose it, or the energy is going to be tainted in some way, or like you're going to have it for a minute, but then you're going to be found out and it's going to fall apart. So the Justice of Wands is asking us to pursue that which we desire in a way that is self honoring and that honors all involved. The Hermit, or sorry, the Hierophant of Swords carries an energy similar to that Queen of Swords, but with the Queen of Swords, that's more something of her own making. That's how she's adapted in the past. And with the judgment energy that's been pervasive for the past few days, it's her needing to reevaluate like what continues to work and what is no longer working. What are some things that you're holding on to mentally, some patterns that you've fallen into that are now hurting and harming you, slowing your progression more than they are providing you strength or support? Like, what can you afford to get rid of? But with the Hierophant of Swords, it takes on much more of a societal and environmental impact. It is the things that we don't do because of whatever religion or spirituality we subscribe to. It's socioeconomic sort of societal norms, customs, things of that nature. There's another word I want, but I can't um, think of it. Also, it's carrying an energy that's something like, if I want to belong to this certain group, then there are certain things that I can't do and certain things that I have to do. It creates a structure that is rigid, that is not you, or not intentionally designed by you. Maybe you selected it in some way. But again, it's coming to the point where it's working against you. And then we have the Hermit of Pentacles. And the Hermit is all about going deeper and seeing. It's like going into the cogs behind the clock face, seeing how everything enmeshes and intertwines with each other to produce the overall end result. And this Hermit of Pentacles, it's going to lead you back to spirit. And it goes back to the message that the Queen of Pentacles had, basically. I think she was like our key player here. And I did say she was representative of the element of life, so that makes sense. Or spirit. But more so the life side of spirit. Um, and it was a thing of like power, it flows. It can kill or heal. And you lose power when you grasp onto it. And at the end, it was like, those who only serve themselves, I ain't with that. But if you're here to help other people and to better the environment that you're around or in, that's an energy that's supported. And I think that's sort of clarified by that Hermit of Pentacles. It's something that the Hermit of Pentacles would figure out, because on the Hierophant of Swords, it's this like all of these strategies to build and accumulate wealth that don't necessarily take the health and well-being of others into account. Because the Hierophant of Swords will have you effing other people over and using people as stepping stones to get what you want and where you want to be. And Queen of Pentacles said, I'm not down with that energy. Like, that's what it said in the book. And again, that's when Justice of Wands comes in. How you go about acquiring what it is that you desire. And with all of that feminine energy, the moon, the Princess of Cups, the Princess of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, the All Gifted was Pandora. Was there any masculine energy? With all of that feminine energy, it's more so about the intentions and the feelings and the vibes, and less about like your actions and the outcome, right? Because it's like a more masculine energy would be like, oh, this is the outcome that I wanted. Congratulations, well done. Feminine energy would be like, yeah, but see, like you went about going about it that way, and that just don't sit right with me. I was like, no. It's like masculine energy is more results oriented. So as long as you get the results, they really don't care. And that's why this Hierophant of Swords is not necessarily the greatest. But with Judgment and the Hermit here, you're not going to get one over on that. So that was all that. What's at the bottom of the deck again? The Star. It's healing all of that and bringing it into balance. Bringing it into a balance. And that's what it's all about. I'm going to go ahead and put these away. There it is. I was like, where's the thing? Where that thingy? She pregnant. Oh, the flowers. Okay. So the Princess of Cups had all the butterflies. The Princess of Pentacles is bringing all the flowers. Hey, Miss Vernell, how you doing? It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. She's got all the flowers and she pregnant. It takes me back to that. What did I say? With the Queen of Pentacles, it was an energy somewhere that was like when we try to be like do as I say, not as I do, but children learn in like that monkey see, monkey do type of way. They learn by what they observe you doing, not necessarily by what you tell them to not do. And it's like, well, you do it. And if your solution is, well, I'm grown and you're a child, it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know if children necessarily. I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. I don't know if children necessarily like be like, oh well, mommy's older than me or daddy's older than me, so mommy and daddy get to do this, but or they'd be like, oh, it's my I'm a day older now, or it's my 5th birthday now. I'm old too. Um, it takes me back to Into the Woods, and I've read that on here before. It's Children Will Listen. It's that song, and I've read it before. But there was one part that's like, careful the spells you cast, and then the spells are the tales that you tell. It said, what is it? Oh, I'll just read it. I'll just read it again because that energy is here. Maybe I shouldn't. Now I'm gonna be watching Into the Woods, and I'm gonna be singing even more. What is so weird? I watched that movie with my mom. I watched it with her. I don't remember seeing the whole film. I watched it like a month ago, maybe. I don't remember seeing the whole film. When we watched it, I was watching it on Netflix. So by the time I watched the movie, I was singing all the songs, and she was like, "If you're gonna keep singing, then I'll watch this by myself." So I stopped singing. But I don't remember finishing that movie. And it's so like we rented it from Family Video. And it's not very characteristic of us to start a movie and not finish it. And so after I finished watching it, I went in the bathroom. Well, she was in the bathroom, not like using it. She was just in there doing her makeup or something because she was about to go live. I don't know. Um, and I was like, Mom, do you remember finishing Into the Woods? And she was like, Into the Woods, what's that? And so I showed her, I played her a clip. And she was like, first she didn't remember. She was like, oh, I remember this. And she was like, I don't remember finishing it either. And that's just so bizarre to me that we both distinctly remember starting it, but neither one of us remembers finishing it. And so I don't know, it's bringing in a little, it's putting an interesting energy on that 6 of Cups that was on the wall and just the 6 of Cups in general. And I was playing a game earlier. And in the game, there's a counselor and he was talking about how we have false memories and how there's a memory bias and how the brain will create memories that didn't necessarily happen. And honestly, that's just some trick of the moon type of energy because I don't know what that's coming from, what that means, or where it's going. Um, I don't know, but I will find these lyrics real quick. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the part that is calling to me. Okay. All right, I'll just read this. So it says, careful the wish you make. So the whole thing is, oh, am I going to have to read the whole thing? One second. So, guide them along the way. Children will listen. Why did it say glisten? Children will glisten. Hold up, y'all. Let me go find somebody else. Is this The Shining? We got glistening kids out there. Oh, he's got The Shining. I'm like you too. Hello, Mrs. Torrance. Sorry. And then at the end of the movie, when she find out what red rum means, there's something, and like she only finds out what red rum means because of the mirror. There's something weird because it's like technically they walked into that situation with a knowing that they didn't know that they had. And it's an energy. Remember the thing on that one end table that hadn't yet made it to its mark? And then I was like, well, as soon as this makes it to its mark, 10 of cups, because it's the 9 of cups and the ace of cups. And then it also reminds me of the feeling, I think it was yesterday, where it's like nothing is missing, but it feels like something else should be here or something else should be there. And so it carries an any day now type of energy. Now, I don't think it's red rum, quite frankly. Anyway, let me finish reading this. Careful the things you say, children will listen. Careful the things you do, children will see and learn. Guide them along the way, children will listen. This is glisten again. Children will look to you for which way to turn, to learn what to be. Careful before you say, listen to me, children will listen. Careful the wish you make, wishes are children. Careful the path they take, wishes come true, not free. Careful the spell you cast, not just on children. Sometimes the spell may last past what you can see and turn against you. Careful the tale you tell, that is the spell. Children will listen. Now, wishes are children, and the spell is the tale that you tell. Though it's fearful, though it's deep, though it's dark, and though you may lose the path, though you may encounter wolves, you can't just act, you have to listen. You can't just act, you have to think. There are always wolves, there are always spells, there are always beings, or a giant dwells there. So, into the woods you go again. You have to every now and then. Into the woods, no telling when. Be ready for your journey. And that's where I'm gonna end it, because that's that any day now. I kind of got chills a little bit. A little bit. Just be ready. And it reminds me of a few months ago. I was talking to my dad. One of my cousins got married, and so I was going to visit for a little bit because it's been like since 2014. I think last time I visited was in 2014, because from 2015 on I was working over the summers. Um, and I told him, and like he literally never got back to me about whether it can work or not. Because I was like, with everything going on, I don't know if like visiting is something that we're doing right now. And then something told me it was Wednesday night. And it like laundry had been on my mind. I was like, I need to do laundry. I need to do laundry. Wednesday night, something was like, I should do laundry tonight and just have my clothes ready. Because if my dad says whatever, I'm not going to be ready to go. Literally the next day, he calls me. He's like, hey, like, are you ready? Like, I got today off. I can blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, dude, like, I talked to you like a week and a half ago. Like, when were you going to let me know what day you had off? Hello? And he was like, "Oh, you ain't," or whatever. I'm like, now what's interesting is something told me to be ready, and then he literally called me the next day. I didn't end up going though, and it didn't feel like the right time to, honestly. Um, but that's interesting because something told me it was like I should do my laundry and pack up like some clothes just to be ready. And I didn't listen to it. And then again, he called me the next day. There was another thing in, I think, Childlike Expression, or maybe it was in Splendor. It was probably actually in Splendor. That was learn to listen to your intuition. And summer 2019, it might have been June-ish. It was probably June because there was one day I was running around with my mom literally all day trying to get some stuff resolved and taken care of. She had drove like an hour to campus so I can take care of some stuff. I had to get a new phone and stuff. No, I like switched my phone, and I don't have a vehicle. Now that my eyes are better, I could drive. Um, and something told me to grab some things that I left. And so we were running around a lot more than we would have needed to. And some other things were happening. And so I was like, you know what? For a week, I'm going to listen to my intuition, regardless if I need the thing or not. So, like, if something tells me to grab an umbrella, even if it doesn't look like it's going to rain, I'm going to grab an umbrella. And I'm going to go through the minor inconvenience of carrying an umbrella with me everywhere I go, even though I don't need one. But I would have different periods where I would do exercises like I'm just going to listen to my intuition on everything and just to strengthen it and other stuff. Maybe I'm just weird like that. That's probably would probably explain a few things. Wholeness and promise of the future. I've never seen this promise of the future card. Wholeness and promise of the future. This is that Nine of Cups energy. Because I said, like, every individual goes through its Ace of Cups. And when one, it feels like one is already on the mark, we're always on the mark or finding our mark. But when the other one gets on their mark, it's like, boom, 10 of Cups. Wholeness and promise of the future. It feels like something that was like foretold. And that's the Red Rum thing, right? I was like, before they even started that whole journey, they already had that in the beginning because of the shining, glistening children. Okay, all right, let's wrap this up, please, and thank you. All right. No, I was gonna watch Meet the Robinsons earlier. I really want to find the version of Into the Woods that used to be on Netflix. It was so sad that they took it down, and I can't find it. Okay, final card, please. From the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha. I feel like I probably didn't need a final card from this deck, honestly, but I'll ask for one anyway, because I'm already shuffling. I'm already shuffling now. I'm gonna keep going until one drops. I got this like blank card in here and it never comes out. So shout out to Lord Ganesha for never disappointing. Lord Ganesha's never hit me with a, oh, you figure it out. Okay, I'll take this one because it's like turning up weird like that. There's two cards. 14 and 46. They're both, well, one of them is green, the other one is blue. Splendor again and drive. Something just said something about action. Maybe. Bottom of the deck is perseverance. 14 and 28. So we have drive. Drive doubled is 28. Drive and perseverance. This is that acknowledgement that I was feeling from spirit. Where it's like it's acknowledging how difficult life is. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean that we're not capable of finding the way. I only read Drive since I already read Splendor. Splendor was all about finding the beauty within and without. Drive is confidence as well as unity of purpose and control are desirable. Ganesha urges you to think about getting back to the basics. It is a great time to lighten your load or simplify your life. You may have had a tendency to overextend yourself or overcommit to social activities. Cut back on your schedule so you can zero in on something that you are called to do. This card indicates new motivation or inspiration. If you have been feeling stuck in a situation or in finding a solution, rest assured the energy is going to start moving again. You do not have to choose to go alone on your path. Make sure that if you do bring others with you, that they have the same goals and objectives in mind. Pay attention not to linger in relationships or friendships that are going nowhere or settle just because you feel obligated. This is not a time to be complacent. If you want to create changes in your work, explore what your options might be. There might be an increase in finances, but this is not a time to be spending money. Bide your time and prepare for what is coming. This might also indicate that a trip or extended travel is on the horizon. Maybe I'll see something beautiful because the mountains in the back. We got Splendor right here with the flowers and the butterflies. Bottom of the deck is, I'll show it, but I'm not going to hold it up. Perseverance. And it's that orange color. We got some more orange coming in. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if there's any yellow in the deck. I don't know. That was 28. I'm born on the 28th. I used to not like that because I got some ones in my life numbers. I'm a life path 7, but one of my path numbers is like a 1, and I'm born on a 1 day. It's a 10. And I was like, ugh, because I didn't want to have to be a leader. But now it makes sense. And I forget what the website is. It might be on Astro Cafe somewhere. But it said around your first Saturn return, somewhere in the 20s, is when you shift into from one energy or from one number into another. And I'm at the point where I'm shifting into a 1. And I'm like, oh, okay, well. I was like, okay, fine. And my name is like a 100. It's almost 33, 33, 33. My first and last names are 33s. My middle name is a 34. I was like, oh, I was like, one number. I would be in a 33, 33, 33, 99. But I'm a 100 because I keeps it 100. I'm just playing. I'm sorry. Perseverance. You are likely to see financial or other tangible rewards for all of your hard work. Love that. Ganesha's tusk represents hard work in completing the task at hand. There is a legend included in some manuscripts of the Mahabharata about Ganesha breaking his own tusk off to continue writing the Mahabharata epic as Vyasa was dictating it to him. Ganesha's tusk is interpreted as a symbol of sacrifice and strength and demonstrates that it is important to finish what you start. If you have been working hard or putting extra effort into something, it will definitely be worth all the work. You will see the results and rewards for your labor. You may have been working on something quite challenging and important for the last few months, and this is likely to come to a conclusion soon. Ganesha is guiding you to not lose faith while you wait for things to come to fruition. There's that fruition word. That word just came to me on my keyboard because I was looking at my keyboard and it hasn't been a thing, but here it is. Oh, snap. I was a whole day early. Okay. Ganesha is guiding you to not lose faith while you wait for things to come to fruition. Be patient and appreciate the progress you have made so far. If your hard work has not yet paid off as planned, consider that your expectations may need modifying. There are no guarantees. Be grateful, focus on the present, and do what you can with what you have. There will be an ending to a difficult period of financial or material struggle. Love that energy. And with Splendor, you're probably already feeling it. Here's Drive. Perseverance is the recognition of your drive, saying that the reward will soon be coming, and it's Splendor. Here's a 4610. Perseverance is a 2810. Hey, look, there's that 2 and that 8 again. And it's orange. So it's kind of sort of a 10 of Wands energy. It is a 10 of Wands energy. Perseverance. And the 10 of Wands came out. The 10 of Wands and the Ace of Wands, which gave the Justice of Wands energy. So that's gorgeous. I hope tomorrow is another gorgeous day. It's just been feeling, I don't know, just like release all your worries and your cares to me. It is about that time. Congratulations. And I just got my degree. Let's go. It's graduation all over. All right, y'all. I hope you have a good whenever you see this. And I hope you're acting in alignment to make it even better. I had originally planned on coming on earlier today, but that ain't happening because I was expecting something to be here today. Turns out it ain't going to be here till like Monday. So I'll catch y'all later today because it's already Saturday here now. It's 2:32 in the AM. It's time for me to go to bed. But I'll catch y'all later today to see what day 12 gives us. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else, right? Oh wait, did I finish that saying? I hope you have a good whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make that what you wish to experience your reality because it's possible. And for those who believe in and act in alignment in accordance to miracles, miraculous things are not only possible, but constantly and continuously happening. Like the All Gifted said, it's just as pervasive. We just gotta tune into that frequency, tune into that channel, and handle any mental or emotional thing that keeps us from being able to find it. And if those mental or emotional things are heavy, then have the drive to persevere and you'll be rewarded. You'll be so rewarded. If not only, but just to be like free of those things. Like that alone, at least for me, that's like reward enough. I mean, is it? It is, but is it? It is. But all right, y'all. I'll catch you later. Bye.